From Hart High School, Dillon, Zamperin, and Kaylee Tolentino present the Hart to Hart Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Hart to Hart Podcast.
I'm Kaylee Tolentino.
And I'm Dillon Zamperin, and today we are joined by Mrs. Clack, a math teacher and one of our ASB directors.
Yeah, welcome to the Hart to Hart Podcast.
Thanks so much for having me, you guys.
Yeah, of course. So please tell us a little bit about yourself to people who might not know who you are. Where did you grow up? What elementary school did you go to? Junior high and high school?
My name is Jamie Clack, and I grew up here in Santa Clarita. I went to Old Orchard Elementary School and then Placerita Junior High, and I am a Hart High School graduate in 2006.
Okay.
So you've been in this valley like your whole life?
Aside from like college and after college, but then I ended up coming back.
Where did you go to college?
I went to UCSB, and I graduated with my degree in economics and accounting. And I did about 2 years at a public accounting firm.
Mm-hmm.
And I got halfway through my 4 CPA exams, and I passed half of them. And then I was like, this is not what I want to do with my life. So then I ended up going to Pepperdine to get my master's and my teaching credential. And then I landed up back here in the Hart District.
That's neat. And was your first job back here in the Hart District at Placerita?
No, it actually was at La Mesa.
Oh.
I got hired as a long-term sub there. It was an elective called business math, which it really was not math at all. It was a computer class, which is super cool.
Yeah.
So it was like teaching kids how to type, just the functions of back then it was like Microsoft Office, so like PowerPoint, Microsoft Word,
Yeah.
which now it's all Google Docs and Google Suite. So it's just funny how it's so different.
What first inspired you to become to go into like that teaching area with your degree?
So at UCSB, I was like undeclared. My major was undeclared until like the last possible moment. And I was talking to my dad and I was like, oh, I think I might just keep going on with math and become a math teacher. And I was really fortunate, and my parents paid for my college. And they said, oh, if you're going to become a math teacher, like, why don't you just move home and go to CSUN? And I was like, no, I really like the beach. I'll just keep taking these accounting classes. But as I was working through that job, I was working really long, terrible hours, and I wasn't really happy. And then once I got promoted and I had staff underneath me and I was teaching them how to do it, I was like, oh, Mom, like I'm not hating my job as much anymore. She's like, yeah, because you're teaching. So my mom really was pushed me to be like, why don't you just make a change? Like, just go be a teacher if you want to be a teacher. So that kind of finally pushed me back in into the right direction.
Yeah. And then after La Mesa, did you get, was that when you moved to Placerita?
Yeah. So La Mesa, it started in January. It was like the whole semester, January to June. And then straight from there, I did a summer school at Golden Valley, and then I was at Placerita ever since.
Okay.
That was for about 7 years at Placerita.
And then you moved from Placerita here to Hart?
Yeah. And then I came here in 2021. Was technically my first year, but I was pregnant with my youngest daughter. And so I only was here from August to about November. And then I was out the whole year. So I feel like even though that was my first year, I feel like it wasn't technically my real first year.
Okay. And then as we mentioned earlier, you are one of the ASB directors, and earlier in the year we did have Mrs. Keaton on, and now we have you. So what made you decide to join ASB? I know that this is your first year of it.
Yeah.
With us as a class. So what made you decide to join?
So I was actually in ASB when I was here as a student.
Mhm.
I was actually the same position as you, Dylan. And I've just always loved being involved and leadership and all that stuff. And then the opportunity arose at Placerita for me to step into the ASB director position there. And I had such a blast doing that. And then it just landed me up. Here I am. And getting to walk alongside Miss Keaton. And it's been a really wonderful experience.
Yeah.
So you said you were at prom when you were at Hart, correct?
I was at, what do you
Sorry,
mean?
prom. You're at ASB.
Oh, yeah,
You're
I was in ASB. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
When I was here.
What was the difference between, like as a student, I see it when I'm in ASB and everything, but what is the difference now being the teacher, being able to see like all the students, like what is that like?
I think there's just so much that as a student, even though we try, I think Miss Keaton and I try to have you guys see all of it. There's just the time urgency stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and just so many different parts moving and things changing. And I feel like you guys see all the things that change, but even just other like backside things that you guys don't see. It's just a lot of moving pieces, which is really part of the job that I love, because it's
Yeah.
interesting. It's never the same. It's always changing. I'm constantly learning, which I really like. That I feel like I'm growing and learning so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite thing about ASB?
I just think like all the collaboration, the like fun bouncing ideas, constantly adapting. Like the kids come up with things that are like way smarter than me all the time. Like, oh, that is so awesome. Like I wouldn't have thought of it that way. And like, that's so smart. Like that makes total sense. So I think especially as I'm getting older and like less in touch with like the youngness of everything, it's a really fun thing to see. Like, oh yeah, I am absolutely oblivious to all these like trends and everything that's going on.
Yeah.
But you guys are so in tune with it. So it's awesome to see you guys kind of do your thing.
That's neat.
So prom is coming up. Would you like to talk a little bit about that, like the prices, the location where you could buy the tickets?
Yeah. So prom's coming up. It's going to be April 26th at Camarillo Ranch. You can buy your tickets in the ASB office. And there's a whole like prom packet with all of this info as well. So you can go there to get all this information in one place, but it's going to be super fun. Dinner's included, DJ, dancing. We're going to have like a horse carriage with like real horses, photo booth, of course, casino games. So it's going to be a really, really fun time. The tickets are starting to go on sale on March 24th, and the lowest ticket price is going to be $170 with that ASB card, and they're on sale all the way through April 23rd. And the ticket prices kind of increase as you go, and so the most expensive they'll get is $200.
Okay.
I know that maybe if anybody's wondering, if a senior did buy senior pack, then the prom ticket is included, and also a grad night ticket is included with that too.
Yes.
Sometimes it can get confusing.
Totally.
So, yeah.
We actually sent out emails to seniors that did buy a senior pack just so that they know, like, hey, you already bought this, don't buy it again. So if you did not get that email, that means that you did not buy that package.
Yeah.
And for prom and grad night, if you have an ASB card, it's like $10 cheaper, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
I know that like going to prom is definitely something that I feel like everybody should try to do, because you never know how many proms you're going to get, especially over this past like 5 years. Some seniors lost out on their prom. So even if you're a junior, I think it's a good idea to go, because you never know what's going to happen. So
Oh, absolutely.
now in your free time, what do you like to do?
I have 2 little girls. They are 3 and 4, and they totally keep me busy. And a great husband and 2 dogs. So I'm trying to spend as much time as I can with my family. And typically it's like dressing up with princess dresses and doing gymnastics and swimming and hula hoops and all that fun stuff. And then my kind of like me thing is I like to crochet to kind of keep my hands busy. Yeah. It's like such an old lady thing to say, but I'm really into it.
But there's like a lot of people like that crochet now, like even students here at Hart, like I know there's a whole crochet club too and everything.
Yeah. I'm the advisor of it.
Yes.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. Tuesdays at lunch in my classroom. T202, shout out Crochet Club.
Did you crochet that thing on your?
I did. It's like kind of therapeutic. It keeps my hands busy and out of my phone. And I don't know.
Yeah.
It's my jam.
Yeah. It's like a mini getaway thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have a greatest piece of advice that you have ever received, or maybe a good piece of advice that you would like to give on? Maybe the same piece of advice?
I think just not being afraid of change. I think it can be really easy to do what is like safe and comfortable, and it can be hard to put yourself out there, but I think not being afraid of change probably will bring you a lot of opportunities in life. Sounds super cliche to say.
Oh, wow. Makes sense though.
Yeah. And last question, what is your number one favorite thing here at Hart?
I think my favorite thing about Hart is really just like the Hart pride. Whether it be from the students or the staff. There's so many wonderful staff and so many amazing students. But even just out in the community, when you run into like alumni at the gas station, I was wearing a Hart sweatshirt and like, oh, I went to Hart in this year. I went to Hart that year. And, oh, did you have this teacher? Oh, did you have that teacher? Like, I don't know. It's just, there's so much Hart pride and tradition. And even among the teachers here, there's a lot of teachers that actually were students here. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I
a
feel
lot
like
of alumni here.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's kind of unique to here. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't find that like when I'm talking to my friends that teach at other schools, it's not as common as you'd think. So it's obviously a pretty wonderful place if there's so many people that want to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. All right. Well, that's all that we have for today. So thank you, Mrs. Clack, for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys.
Of course. Make sure to watch the full episode on the Hart TV YouTube channel.
Or listen in wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Kaylee Tolentino.
And I'm Dillon Zamperin, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Hart to Hart podcast.